Hello, SACNAS. This is Velasco. I'm a professor at the University of Texas at El Paso. I'm also the state seismologist of Texas, working at the Railroad Commission, and I'm a long-time SACNista. I first became involved with SACNAS in 1989 as a graduate student and have really tried to make it my mission in many respects to go to SACNAS every year. It doesn't happen all the time, but the bottom line is that I've been able to serve the organization as a board member for more than 8 years. I served as president during that time also. And so I just wanted to put together a video that basically says, from my perspective, what does it mean to serve? And really, SACNAS is a unique organization. What we're doing is providing a foundational sort of organization for many students in science that feel very isolated, and to really try to grow that community, both not only with the students but also professionally. And so by serving on the board, you're really contributing to that mission. And I don't know of anyone that has served on the board that doesn't truly believe in the mission. And so that's really the foundational sort of goal and aspiration, I would say. What it means to serve on the board is basically, it means to serve our community. And that's the beautiful thing about serving on the SACNAS board. And so really the board is there as a way of setting directional directions of where the organization wants to go with the membership, but probably the key thing has to do with funding. And the reason why is I love this quote that from a movie way back in the 80s called The Right Stuff. And one of the quotes basically says, "No bucks, no Buck Rogers." And the point of that is that you can't go to space without money. You can't do the mission of SACNAS without money. And so that's the challenge. And many of us struggle asking for money. Even as president, I struggled in that regard. But one of the mechanisms that we could do is, for example, is to write grants. We wrote a lot of grants that historically federal funds have funded SACNAS. Lately, it's been not just federal, but also sponsorships and whatnot. And to really look outside of that sort of traditional sort of pipeline of funds. And it's even more critical today. So I would say that if you're going to serve on the board of SACNAS, it's really important to keep in mind is that how can you contribute to making sure the organization is viable in the future, and that number one thing is funding. And so no matter what your passion is, no matter what field you're in, really the board has to set that financial direction, has to stabilize that organization, has to basically, you can't do any of these programs, we can't fund students to go to the conference, we can't fund students to do anything if we don't have those funds. And so that's probably, I would say, the most critical element. And yet, in many respects, we're not necessarily tooled for that. We are academics, or even in industry, we work on different ways. And working for a nonprofit is tough. I mean, nonprofit in this environment, we have lots of going on socially. We have lots of going on related to the health crisis, and money is going to be tight. And so, what can we do to maybe switch things around a little bit? We know we're challenged, but how can we turn this into an opportunity? And your role as a SACNAS board will be to be able to, as a board member, to contribute to that conversation. And so if you really believe that this is your passion and you really want to contribute, that's the direction I would encourage you to go. Bring your ideas. Make sure that we have a really strong debates, but we need to be listening to the other people. We need to be really able to hear other people, listen to what they're saying, and internalize it, and be able to understand where people are coming from and why they're saying certain things. I think it's really, really important that if you serve on a board like SACNAS, is to make sure that you're listening. And in fact, I encourage you to improve your listening skills, because especially when you're president, you hear a lot comes at you, and that's the beauty of SACNAS, is in some respects, it's so passionate, yet at the same time, we can't satisfy everyone. We have to move as an organization. We have to, when you walk out of that door, that board meeting, you're all together, no matter how strong that debate was inside. And so that's what it's going to take for you to be a board member. That's one piece of advice I would say, that when you walk out of that room, even if you're not happy the conversation didn't go in your direction, support each other, because that's how we move forward as an organization. Hopefully this has been helpful. Be safe, be healthy, and I wish nothing but the best for all of you. Thank you for considering joining the SACNAS board. I think it's a really critical position. Take care. Be well.